Today I'll be presenting on behalf of my partners Suma and Nancy, and we have decided to commemorate the EMT, also known as the Emergency Medical Technician. So first, in order to tell you what it is that why we decided to commemorate this group of people, why they are so important to our society, we need to define what they're actually doing. So an EMT, as I've already discussed, they are the emergency medical technicians, and they have to go through a lot of qualifications in order just to even sit or drive an ambulance. So the first and the most basic of their extensive training is a minimum of 100 hours. So they have to be able to perfect cardiac and respiratory emergencies, be able to assist someone in childbirth, and also be able to deal with major disasters. This can range anywhere between a car wreck or someone getting hit by a wave too hard. They basically take over for anyone such as like a lifeguard or a cop. They're the first people to hit the scene, so they need to be able to deal with these disasters at any given moment. So the next level is an intermediate. So that's trauma management. Someone gets hit in the head, you have to be able to deal with someone who may have a concussion and be able to guide them and make them feel a little bit better if they're taken off into the ambulance until they reach the hospital and reach the doctors. Medical administration as well as intravenous treatment. So they need to be able to know how to give a shot. That's not something that's very easy to do because you have to be able to know which vein to put which medicine in, do they have to get it in their wrist, do they have to get it in their butt? You never know. So that they have to be have a lot of extensive training on this. So furthermore, now we get into paramedic. This is the person that actually can be in the ambulance in the back giving medical advice, administering things. So they have to go through a 2-year program. Also, they have to do field training and clinical practicums. This is something similar to what a doctor has to do. So as you can see, this is very serious training. They're not just going to put someone out there who can save someone's lives without having the proper training. So they also have to have certifications and licenses. So in order to be able to be an EMT, you have to pass the NREMT certification exam. And they also may be subjected by certain states to state-specified qualifications and exams in accompaniment with the NREMT. Also, they have to know their stuff throughout. If they're planning on being an EMT for 10 years, they have to be knowledgeable throughout those 10 years. They can't, it's not like getting tenured as a teacher, like you're safe with that. You have to be able to pass this exam every 2 to 3 years based on, it's a state-to-state requirement. So, duties of an EMT. They're all volunteers. You would never think that with all those qualifications they have to go through. Similar to a nurse, and most of them are not paid. Another thing, time commitment. A lot of people don't know. They could be out in the truck for 12 plus hours. Imagine having a work shift, sitting at a desk for 12 plus hours. Not many people have that much time requirement. Devoted to helping others. Obviously, this is a very selfless job, and as you can see, there's not that many benefits. So the people who choose to do this are doing this out of the great kindness of their heart, not because they're getting paid a lot of money, much like a doctor or a nurse. Working well with strangers. You're getting in a truck, you have to be able to comfort someone you just met that you are responsible enough to be able to care for their life. They may be, on the verge of dying. And not only that, you have to be able to comfort someone who's in pain. You also have to be able to assure the people who are with them, who love them, who may be sitting in the truck, who don't want to leave them, that you are trained and qualified enough to take care of someone's life. So difficulties of the job. Like I said, you have to comfort others. You also have to witness loss. Sometimes people are so, you may arrive on the scene, they can be pronounced dead on the scene. You have to be able to handle that. And you have to be able to separate what happens on the job from your life. A lot of people can't do that. That's a very difficult thing to do. I know personally, I would never be able to witness the things that I know personally a lot. I know some EMTs, and they have told me stories, and I stop them midway through the story because I can't handle that. It's a lot of pressure on someone. Exhausting on the body. Like I had mentioned before, these are 12 plus hour shifts. That does a A lot of us can't even focus for an hour and 20-minute class. Now imagine having someone's life in your hand and having to work off of not having sleep for 12 hours. It's very exhausting. Late nights, like I said, a lot of people will not be able to concentrate past 4 a.m., but you have to be able to save someone. God forbid something happens at 4 a.m., there's a car crash. You have to be able to get out of your bed, if you're on duty, on call, get into a car and trust that you're going to be awake enough and focused enough to be able to administer medical treatments or any other things like that and do it correctly at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's a very difficult thing to do. So just to put in perspective how the EMT works, we decided to choose, although a sensitive subject, something that just recently happened and affected a lot of people. Unfortunately, the Boston Marathon bombings. So as you can see, picture right over here on the left, that is the immediate destruction of what happened and what occurred. Tragedy. It was a terrible, terrible thing. A few moments later, this was the scene. I don't know if you can notice right now, but all these guys in the yellow jacket, some of them are cops, but a lot of them are EMT who arrived on the scene within moments of getting the call that they had. We'll cut that out. So what actually happened? Obviously there was a bombing at the Boston Marathon. Over 100 wounded and 3 passed on the scene. And after the fact, it is a very current situation. People are still getting affected. People are still unfortunately passing away. So the numbers haven't really come in yet. As well as the number of respondents, there was a majority of EMT personnel who belong into the Boston area that came out that were, they could have just been sitting in class and got the call and had to leave immediately, and they arrived on the scene within minutes. And they still don't have the numbers of how many people came in, obviously, but it was a very great deal of most of the EMTs in Boston. So we decided to choose a personal story from one of the EMT that arrived on the scene, Jason Yutkins. So just to quote, "There was a 41-year-old man injured in the first blast. The femurs on both sides of his body were broken, the bones protruding from his skin. His fibulae were also both broken and sticking from his skin. One of his feet was gone, ripped muscle dangling from his legs. He was bleeding to death. His body was in shock, and all he kept saying whenever Yutkins asked him if he needed something was, 'Thank you, just keep me alive.'" Put yourself in that scene for 1 second. Would you freak out? I know I would. I don't know if I would be able to handle this. I would probably pass out just from that description. So that just kind of puts in perspective what these people have to deal with every day. This isn't just at the Boston bombings. This is every day. This is the stuff that they have to put up with. This is the stuff that they have to deal with. That's a lot of heartache. And they're still strong, and they still go out there, and they do their job, and they do it wonderfully. Just another quote. "When I advised to stay back from the enclosed area, they didn't listen to me," an EMT said proudly. "They ran in to help the people, knowing there was probably a third bomb." So just demonstrating the bravery that these EMT have. So why we chose this topic, obviously demonstrated from what I've been telling you, there's a lot of selflessness going on here, and they help people, and they don't do it for the money, and they don't do it for the fame. They do it, these are normal people, and a lot of them don't get the credit they deserve. They do it out of the goodness of their heart. So, EMT puts safety of others before their own, and I could not have said that more beautifully. It's true to every single word right there.